All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us here today. We are shooting off today with our very first. It is a Hot Topic Thursday. You can join us here weekly at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is Adriana Luna Carlos. I'm one of the CEOs and founders of She Rises Studios, and I'm joined here today with a very special guest. You have seen Leslie before on our channel, and you will continuously see her. She does help host our clubhouse that also takes place on Thursdays in the morning, and that is at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But today we're going to be talking about something special, and it's called Cancel That Shit. That's what we want to help you implement today. And this topic is all about getting rid of limiting beliefs in life and business. And we really want you to get engaged with this. Put some comments down below, tag others to help them talk about their limiting beliefs and maybe things that they have done to overcome this, or maybe something you're currently struggling with and you just want some feedback. That's why we're here. So, Leslie, if you can kind of reintroduce yourself, let the ladies know who you are and what you do.
Hi, ladies. I'm so happy to be here on the very first episode. That's so cool. My name is Leslie Cadet, and I am a mindset and emotional awareness coach for women who are mission driven and love what they do, but want to add more value to the world. And that could be by exploring their passion or maybe even possibly stepping into entrepreneurship. And I show them how to embrace what they're good at, how to add something more to their life that they're passionate about, stepping into entrepreneurship if that's what they want. And it's possible to have both because I think a lot of people think you have to choose, but you don't. And that's all possible by developing a supplement mindset, learning how to manage your emotions so you don't they don't manage your time and steal it. And it'll free you up to be in flow so you can design a life you love living. And that's who I am.
I love it. Thank you, Leslie. And for those who are listening, whether you're watching on replay or you're watching live with us right now, if you've already felt connected just by what little she has said, put like a thumbs up or a heart down there. That way we know that we're on the right track and we're really giving you the content that you want to know and need to know. So, Leslie, I know you came on prepared to give some awesome tips about canceling that shit. And when we say that shit, we're literally talking about those limiting beliefs, the things that stop us and bring hesitation into our lives, make us doubt, whether it's because of fear or lack of motivation, or maybe feeling we're not enough. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, Leslie.
Yeah, I think this is something that a lot of people are afraid to tackle because it means getting real with the thoughts in your head. I call it the secret space in our head where all of the thoughts are swirling around. We may not say them out loud, but it does not mean we are not thinking them. And so one of the tools that I started implementing in my own life and working with my clients really closely is what I call gratitude stacking. And that's really about taking your day and starting it off with gratitude and ending it off with gratitude. And how what that does for you when you can get into that gratitude space right off the bat, the very beginning of your day, you'll be able to then have that gratitude energy take you throughout your day. That helps you to notice if something derails you because we all have those moments in life, it just doesn't go to plan.
Mm-hmm.
That when you have something happen, it shows you, it gives you that indication like, oh, I'm out of this gratitude energy, and now I can actually start to track it to, oh, okay, I feel a certain way. I don't like how I'm feeling. But oftentimes, what people don't realize as well is that when you get triggered and you start feeling a certain way, which is usually you have a negative feeling, and you start really like looking at ways like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want to do this anymore. I want to procrastinate and do something else. I want to like run away. Is they forget that there's one piece that they didn't look at, which is their thoughts, because that's the thing that drives the emotions. So when you can acknowledge the fact that you are having an emotional reaction to something, you start noticing by tracking it back to what you're thinking, and then being able to embrace the fact that you are feeling this way, you can ask yourself simple questions like, is this even true? And does it even line up with what I'm trying to do with my day? And is it even serving me? Because a lot of the time it's fear based, like you were saying, fear
Mm-hmm.
driven. And usually that will happen when we're trying in the middle of making a decision to do something different, something changes, we pivot, and then we're afraid because we don't know the outcome. And so when you can allow yourself to then get into that place where you can allow yourself to recognize that I'm having a moment, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. That's number one. Acknowledge it that you're having a moment. Track it back to what you're thinking. Ask if it's even true or if it's just
Hmm.
something based on fear. And then you can start making more empowering decisions. And the added bonus on top of that is you can always find supporting evidence. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes people have that thing around when they see social media and somebody on social media looks like they are having an amazing track record with their business, or they just look like everything's put together. And then you look at your own life and you think, wow, I'm not good enough. How could I even measure up? But I
Hmm.
want you to be able to say, you know what? I actually can measure up. I am good enough. That's not true what I was thinking. And the supporting evidence is this person's showing me the way that it's possible for them and it's possible for me too. So, yeah.
Love it. Great example. Not only that, but you should turn anything that's negative or mind into something positive. And another way to look at it is if you are looking at that post and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I will never get there. Instead, maybe change the narrative to, I cannot wait until I'm there. And I'm going to work hard every day to get there. Because if you're not setting yourself up for success, what are you setting yourself up for? So that's another way to look at it, to spin it off. Because I really believe that a lot of what we do in life has to do with our perspective on that cup. Is it half full or half empty? It's all about what's going on upstairs. So retraining your brain to think positively brings positivity to you.
Exactly. And it is perspective. It really is. And if you, and one of the things too is I also know that sometimes we have those moments in our day where we just don't have the energy. And so when
Hmm.
you can notice that and you understand that, you know, maybe I need to give myself a little bit of grace, extending
Hmm.
myself that grace and allow myself to like take a moment and step away from those things that are going on in my head, walking away from it in essence, not allowing it to attach itself to you, and
Hmm.
just recognize that it's there, but it doesn't have to become your truth. And I think a lot of that, when we have that low energy, a lot of time people will do stuff like that. They will pull on that negative energy and then they will say, well, this is all happening to me, so I must deserve it. These things must be true. But they're not realizing it's just maybe they had a really not a great night's sleep the night before, and maybe
Hmm.
low energy because they're not eating, you know, enough nutritional foods. You know, there's a lot of things that can factor into that.
Definitely. And I know you mentioned about gratitude and how you should start and end with gratitude. So what is some one way that you kind of show gratitude in the beginning of your day?
Yeah, so this is something I truly love to do. And what I do is I find myself some really nice soothing music, and then I close my eyes and I start to think about three things that I'm grateful for. One person I'm grateful for, how they've impacted my life. One life experience that I'm grateful for, how that's impacted my life, and where I see that maybe it could motivate me for something more. And then something that I'm grateful for about myself. And when, as I said, gratitude stacking, right? And that's
Hmm.
bookending your day with gratitude. At the end of the day, again, when you go through these moments through the day and you might get knocked off balance, if you can get yourself back on, that's also something to be grateful for. So that at the end of your day, you can actually do an accounting like this is my day. I had some moments, but I was able to get back on track. I'm grateful for that. And I have some things that I was able to accomplish. So you celebrate. And I like to call that anchoring in celebration memories. Because when you do that,
Hmm.
at the end of your year, especially because I do an accounting at the end of my year and I look at my milestones, and a lot of those milestones are gratitude based because I feel like you can find gratitude in everything. Just find the gratitude. And at the end of the year, you can say, wow, look at all of these things that I did. I was able to accomplish all of this because I kept an accounting of it, but I also recognized I allowed myself to be in the moment and not just skip over it. And I think a lot of the time we do that.
I love that accounting perspective for those who are very math driven, but also, um, you know, I guess you could say like tech savvy or whatnot. But putting a different perspective, because some people don't always realize that you don't have to be the most emotional person to be in touch with your emotions. and you can have it in that perspective. I love it. I hope you do like some sort of a booklet to, the accounting booklet, end of year, what have you gone through. I love that. Just wanted to give you some props there because that's a brilliant idea and perspective on how to look at that.
Thank you. And I think it's really important. I did that last year. It was probably more intentional around it this past year. And I took a look at my year as a whole from 2021. Now,
Hmm.
2020 was a pivotal year for me, but 2021 even more so. And so what I did was I not only did a looking back year audit on all of the things that I accomplished, my milestones, even the smallest ones, but I
Hmm.
also did a looking back at my relationships, because
Hmm.
it's also about building relationships that you can anchor in some real amazing celebration memories of the people you became connected to. For me, it was becoming part of the She Rises Studios community, becoming connected to you and your mom, to become connected to the community, learning and seeing that women really, especially in this community of She Rises Studios, that really the women in this community really do believe in collaboration over competition, that it's about celebrating each other, uplifting each other, and encouraging each other to do things for ourselves, for our lives. And that inspired me to start another community of my own on Facebook, just adopting the same process, because I truly believe that we can lift each other up, we can bring each other along. That we don't have to compete with one another. I think that we enhance each other's lives when we actually support each other. So that's one of the things I also like to do in accounting for, is my relationships and the new relationships that I've built. So
That's so cool. I love it. What is another perspective on how to, so to speak, cancel that shit that you would want to bring up to these ladies who are having doubts, fears, or insecurities?
yeah, great question. So I know that, again, I talked about the secret space in our head where all those words swirl around. I think they're the secret words that we believe that because we haven't said them out loud, that they have no meaning, they have no gravity on our life, but they do, because we're still thinking them. And so what I like to do is write that out. When something is in my mind and I'm thinking it, write it out, because when you see it on paper, it becomes real, number one. But also, then you can look at it and think, well, how is this even possible? How is this even true? Because a lot of the time, again, it can be fear based, the limiting beliefs. Again, when you are looking at other people and you might compare yourself to someone else in their successes or where they're at in their journey compared to where you are. And so I believe if you write it out and you can see it, that's when you can actually say, you know what, this doesn't make sense. Why do I even think this? The second part of that is really start paying attention to the words that you're using, and pay attention to the words that you're not really saying. As an example, I used to have a phrase that I would say: I believe everyone in this world adds value, and they were born to add value. But there was a part of me that kept this secret, two-word secret that I never spoke out loud. And the words were, but me. And when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I had been doing that, I realized that how I had been holding myself back from taking steps to do more for my life. And so again, be mindful, because you are speaking words even if they're not coming out of your mouth. They're in your head, so you are speaking them to yourself. And you are listening, by the way, regardless of whether you think you are or you're not. You are listening to yourself, and you probably listen to yourself a lot more than you think. And so just being able to recognize that will help you to then see it. And then you can start like playing with it and say, well, this isn't true. It doesn't make me feel good. And it's not true because I refuse to believe that it's true. Well, what can you get behind that is true? So even if it is um, speaking up for yourself, it's a work in progress for me, but I'm getting better and better at it every day, and I'm getting better and better at it every day. And what is the supporting evidence? Well, because I'm putting myself out there, going on social media, having conversations with people. So when you look at the limiting belief, look at it as what it. Remember that it doesn't have to be your truth. That you have the option to change it to something more positive, and you can find supporting evidence in your own life that will support this new empowering belief that you want to live.
Definitely. So maybe before we head out of here, For those who may not know, do I really have a limiting belief? How do I know that I can overcome it? What is something you can tell them or practice to get out that negativity out of their system? Like you said, writing it down, but how do we get them to prompt and not ignore the fact that they are doing that? Do you have anything that you can tell the ladies that they can start implementing now so they can work on it today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not easy. And one of the things I want you to start today is to just say, you know what, I'm human. I have emotions. Things are going to happen. I'm not always going to respond the way I want to. But allow yourself that those moments are going to come and they're going to go. You're going to be able to get through it. Number two, I want you to be able to listen to the words you're saying. So if the words coming out of your mouth are "I'm not worthy," "I'm not deserving," and you're looking at other people, just recognize it. Acknowledge that it's happening. Recognize that these are the thoughts that you're having, and that you actually have the power to change how you think. It's your perspective, and you can change your mind. It doesn't have to be your truth. And one of the things I love to do, and I think it's funny, one of my past clients, had said to me when I said to her, all you have to do is tell the voice in your head that you're not listening. And she
Mm.
said, I can do that. And I said, yeah, you can. Because it doesn't have to be the voice that you listen to. You have two. You have your inner villain and you have your
Mhm.
inner hero. And your inner
Mhm.
hero wants to support you. So listen to her more often. You are powerful. You're an amazing woman, or you're amazing women, and you have so much potential. And if you allow yourself to look for the potential in the words that you use for yourself, you will find yourself moving further and further away from that negative space that has been, holding too much space in your life.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Leslie. That was awesome. I
You're
appreciate your
welcome.
time. And
Thank you.
ladies, if you can let us know that you're listening, put some comments down below. Tell us how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how we can help support you. Remember, this is meant for life and business. So anything you're struggling with in business, in life, that could be if you're going to school. As silly as that may sound, we all struggle in some way in our life. So be honest with yourself so you can help yourself. Thank you all so much, and we cannot wait for our next one next Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome. Bye, ladies.